Joining me now from Beirut is our correspondent Layla Molana-Allen, who's in the middle of those protests. Layla, a cabinet announcement on those reforms is expected later today. Just take us through what it is likely to include.
Yes, so there was a cabinet meeting this morning chaired by the President, Molana-Allen, and we're expecting that announcement later today. What we're looking at is because they need some different reforms, because what they wanted to do was tax individuals here, and that's what prompted all these protests last week. So they're trying to change that, and we got some idea yesterday when Prime Minister Saad Hariri told us they would do several things. Firstly, and perhaps most importantly for these protesters, they are looking at cutting the salaries of current and former ministers, government ministers, by 50%. The fact that former government ministers still get a salary will tell you something there. They also want a $3.3 billion investment from the Lebanese banks into the economy to try and reach a near zero deficit by 2020. They're going to overhaul the telecom sector and make it private so it's more competitive because the costs are so high here. And they also want to revolutionize the electricity sector, which is in really dire straits in Lebanon. So those are some of the reforms we're looking at hearing about later today.
Layla, as a result, what is the mood of those protesters behind you?
Well, I hope you can see behind me what the mood has been. We had a lot of violence and fires on Friday night, but since then the mood has really changed. These have become family-friendly protests. Young people out, everyone is singing, constant renditions of the national anthem. So in Beirut, at least, very, very positive. Elsewhere in the country, less so. We have had some reports of violence, some militias saying they're going to shoot protesters, some even actually shooting protesters in the south, in Sur. But as far as Beirut is concerned, it has been very, very positive here. Now, one of the reasons for that is because normally protests that happen in Lebanon are sectarian, divided into different groups protesting within their sects. What's happening for the first time in a long time in Lebanon, which is very different, is that everyone is uniting under the Lebanese flag and criticizing their own sectarian leaders. That's why this protest has taken off so much. Over 100,000 people just in central Beirut last night alone. And that's why people think perhaps these reforms won't be enough because there is such a groundswell of support for popular change here.
Layla, just finally, one thing that marks Lebanese politics is that extraordinary tribalism that exists. Clearly, these protests have shown that those tribal barriers, if you like, can be dismantled. Do you think, as a result, this is going to have a lasting impact on Lebanese society?
Very possibly. Everyone I speak to is saying this is so different. This is something that they weren't able to overcome in the election last year when everyone hoped for change, and then suddenly they just had a return to the old sectarian divisions, the old tribal allegiances to leaders. As I said, the fact that people are now criticizing their local sectarian leaders, something that would be unimaginable in the south a little while ago, means that really this could be a change, and everyone here is holding hands and saying we are Lebanese above all else.
Layla Molana-Allen reporting there from Beirut. Thank you.